My wife and I bought this place in large part because of Yale. Yale was here doing this wonderful summer chamber music festival and the chamber music school, and we have enjoyed it and participated in it. And now I'm a trustee of the estate, so it's an important part of our lives here. And I think that's true of a lot of people in town who come to Norfolk because they love music. And Tanglewood's not very far away, Music Mountain. So there are a lot of people that enjoy music. And I think that my wife and I love the idea of bringing more music to town and doing it in the barn. We spent many years restoring the barn upstairs. It's all wood. Phoebe was the one that sort of spotted it and said this would be a great place to do chamber music because of all the wood and the large space and the sound. And so, you know, for my wife and I, it was an opportunity to bring more music to town and to invite all the people in town who love music to come and experience it. So the students are here for the weekend, and then on Sunday they get to do a concert, and we have, you know, over 100 people usually show up for the concert. So, you know, I think it's another element of the musical life of Norfolk that's become kind of a tradition. Phoebe's a huge foodie, and so, you know, she was excited to do something. So Friday night now, the students arrive and have a chance to rehearse before we have dinner, and so Phoebe always cooks soup. You know, that's the thing. And so she brings that, and we don't need to worry so much about dinner. And on Saturday, we try to do something special. So I know one year we did boar stew. But, you know, do something special that the students might not get to experience normally, and have you know, kind of a social dinner the way it's supposed to be. A lot of conversation, a lot of wine. They have to be careful because they're going to sing the next day, but we have a good time, and we make the meal an event.
I've been looking forward to this ever since we left last year. It's just such an amazing time to sort of get away from everything. We get to come here, enjoy the amazing fresh air, have some incredible food, work with amazing musicians, colleagues, people that we're going to know for the rest of our lives as we, you know, sing all over the world. One of the great things about this too is we get time as the Voxtet program to sort of have our own bonding. So, you know, we're all in the same dorm building, and we all bring snacks and board games and stuff. Last night we were playing Apples to Apples, just having a blast. It's really fun. Last year we brought a projector and watched a movie about Hildegard von Bingen, and it was great. It was really fun.
If I could, I would love to live on this farm. It's just so beautiful, especially at this time of year. You see the leaves changing, which I grew up in Florida, so I don't really see many falls. And it's just, the air is clear. It's such a wide open space. We're really lucky to be able to be here. It takes our groups outside of the hustle and bustle of our programs. It takes us away from the city life and into this kind of peaceful nature, open spaces where we can kind of relax into the music and really play around with each other. One of my favorite parts last year was picking raspberries in the farm, the fields over there. I was able to walk around and pick some berries and eat them on my walk. We also have, not we, there are beautiful apple trees and citrus trees, and if we're lucky with a little bit of extra time, we can go picking.
The room is really impressive, how it's set up and how much care and time they've put into this whole experience just for these musicians to perform early music by some guy in Italy like 400 years ago, and now it's popping up in the middle of nowhere in Connecticut. I really enjoyed dinner last night. It's like the first time in grad school that I've been stuffed because I've just usually been feeding myself, and so it's been a privilege to have other people cook for me for every meal. It's really interesting to be able to do works that are lesser known or underperformed. And I think you get to hear a little bit more in better detail what composers were thinking at the time, and not just the composers that we're really familiar with or their work set that we're really familiar with. We get to hear their little quirks, and we get to explore more of their harmonic and compositional language. I think I've worked more on school assignments this year than I did last year, which is a little bit sad. But one thing is that I've gotten to explore things that I didn't get to before. And it's something that's sad about being here for only 2 times. But there are so many little pockets of this campus and around that we don't get to explore, and that I didn't get to explore last year, but got to explore a little bit more this year.
I've loved so much about being here in Norfolk. I think one of the most special things has been getting to know the instrumentalists from Juilliard. Not only are they exceptional musicians, but they're also great people, super kind, lovely to be around. And it's been really fun getting to know their stories and their journeys, because arriving to early music as a career choice is very rarely is a straightforward path. It almost always involves really interesting twists and turns. So learning about each one of their lives has been really cool. I've loved the moments of quiet and rest between the frantic calls to sing music, sitting around the fire and reading books and chatting, playing games at night with friends. Yeah, I mean, the whole atmosphere of the barn, the kind of the rustic feeling, situated in this gorgeous section of valley, it's just been really nice.
You know, it's a beautiful spot here, and I think people love to explore and discover, you know, the Connecticut woods. And you know, one of the things we love about this farm is that there are a lot of open fields. You know, many times when you talk about Connecticut, you're deep in the woods, and there isn't a lot of open space. And you know, here we do have a lot of open space, and I think it makes the farm in particular very special. So, you know, people I think enjoy coming here. The students, I think right now they're out there hiking around and exploring.
There's a hike like a little bit over there, a little bit up the road. And so a few of us went on that hike.
We went on a hike this afternoon, and that was really lovely. Just wandering in the woods, found a clearing and just stood there and breathed in the fresh air for a bit. That was nice.
It's really short, but love to hike.
Roasted marinated lamb and baked salmon.
I mean, the food has been top notch. I just can't believe every single meal they seem to top themselves. Just a new, delightful flavor palette to explore.
We wanted to make Saturday night dinner a kind of a fun evening for the students, and also something that maybe they wouldn't get to experience much on their own. You know, actually having the long table with everybody sitting down. So it kind of evolved over the years. Thank you guys for bringing your music to this place, and over a couple of days creating an incredible amount of beauty and a lot of joy for me, my family, my friends, the town of Norfolk. I think you guys need to understand how important what you do is, and what it brings to our lives. And this is a small example, but we treasure it.
In 2015 was our first year here at Husky Meadows Farm. Phoebe Karai had been here before and done a concert or two in the barn with David Lowe and just bringing her cellos from Juilliard. And then eventually she said, you know, if the cellists are going to practice continuo, then we probably really need to have some singers there. So we invited the Voxtet. Phoebe and I have been friends for a long time. And the first year we did primarily things just with continuo and voice. But over the years, now in our 11th year, that has grown, and we now have been doing actual pieces. This year we chose a Scarlatti piece that is rarely done, but it's in the Yale Beinecke Library of Rare Books and Manuscripts. And it's It's an interesting piece. It was tricky to put together because there's not really a proper score, but we had a score made, and it's in Italian, so that's another added trick, but it's interesting, a lot of fun. We're doing a little Dixie as well, so the students have a lot of great opportunity to sing some choral music and show off in that way as well. And it's an amazing experience for everyone.
So the first time I came, after having met David Lowe, 6 months later, he said, "Were you serious about playing in the bar?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I have an event where I need to fundraise for the Norfolk campus for their shed, and I would love you to come play." And I brought a fellow cellist, and we did a duo recital, and we raised $150,000 for Yale that night, and the rest is history.
We've had a lot of people from Europe and Japan show up, and I think they're always amazed that these kinds of things exist, because especially in Japan, you just don't do this. I mean, this isn't something that but when they see, what fun we have and how rich this experience is, I think they really are in awe. And the same thing for the Europeans, which I think they're generally more sort of attuned to it, but I think they're always surprised at how we can create this kind of wonderful, informal, but quite rich cultural experience just over the weekend.
There are refreshments downstairs. See you there.